Freedom at last. Jubilation looms in Southeast as court frees pro-Biafran activists after 4 years in detention. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for tuning in and listening to this headline that we got your ears this morning. As our headline for this morning says here, freedom at last. Jubilation looms in the Southeast as court frees pro-Biafran activists after 4 years in detention. Well, an Ebonyi State High Court sitting in Abakaliki has freed 39 pro-Biafra activists who had been held detention for over 4 years, marking a significant legal victory for the individuals and the indigenous people of Biafra IPOB. The separative movements they support the development, which culminated on September 27, 2024, came after a protracted legal battle categorized by multiple charges, trials, and rearrest. The announcement was made by Ifeanyi Ejiofor, the lead counsel for IPOB, who recounted the series of events that led to the activist detention and eventual release. According to Ejiofor, securing the release of these individuals was fraught with challenges, and the detainees had faced three separate sets of charges, all of which are eventually dismissed by the court. The 36 activists, all from Ebonyi State, were first arrested in 2020 and accused of involvement in violent activities connected to the Biafran Socialist movement. The initial charges registered under case number was one of murder. However, throughout the trial of the prosecution struggled to prevent convincing evidence of sustained the charges. After several months of legal wrangling, the defense team filed a number case submission asserting that the prosecution had failed to establish a prima facie case against the defendants. Well, on September 27, 2022, the court dismissed the charges and ordered the release of the detainees, finding that the prosecution had indeed not provided enough evidence to justify the charges. Well, despite the court ruling in their favor, the activists' ordeal was far from over. Shortly after their release, they were rearrested and rearraigned again, this time under a new case number. The fresh charges include serious allegations such as unlawful possession of firearms, robbery, unlawful association, arson, engaging in conduct likely to cause a breach of peace, and participating in warlike activities. Once again, the prosecution failed to present substantial evidence to back its claims. Ejiofor, leading the defense, responded in another no-case submission, a legal maneuver, arguing that there was no bias for the trial to continue in the absence of concrete evidence. On December 22, 2023, the court once again dismissed the charges, discharging and acquitting all 36 activists for the second time. However, this saga did not end with the second acquittal, while the activists were still awaiting their official release from prison. The prosecution filed a third set of charges under case number. This time, the activists were accused of armed robbery, a serious offense that again led to their prolonged detention despite the previous ruling in their favor. The continued detention of the activists, even after repeated acquittals, drew criticism from the legal team and human rights advocates. Ejiofor expressed his frustration at what he described as an abuse of judicial process, saying that the repeated filing of charges against the same individuals without evidence amounted to a gross miscarriage of justice. Well, on September 27, 2024, following the conclusion of the third trial, the Ebonyi State High Court once again upheld the number case submission presented by the defense and ordered the unconditional release of all the 36 states. The court ruled that the prosecution had failed to present a new or credible evidence to substantiate the armed robbery charges, and as a result, the activists were discharged for the third time. Well, despite the latest ruling, the activists' release was not immediately forthcoming. According to Ejiofor, prison officials refused to comply with the court order, citing yet another charge that had been filed against the detainees in a different court, this time in Ukwu. This new development has sparked outrage among the activist legal team, who view it as a deliberate attempt by the state to deny the detainees their freedom. Ejiofor condemned the refusal of prison officials to release the activists, characterizing as a blatant disregard for the rule of law and an attempt to undermine the judiciary. He described the situation as a mockery of the judicial process and called for immediate action to rectify the injustice. And that is all we have for you concerning this headline today this morning, which says here that freedom at last. Jubilation in Southeast as court frees pro-Biafra activists after 4 years in detention. Well, that is all we have for you guys on this headline. And if you want to subscribe, the best you can do, tap that subscribe button, leave a like, drop it with also tap the notification bell. So that anytime I have any new video, you'll be the first to get notified about it. Well, going into this, they say that the jubilation is in Southeast right now because the court frees pro-Biafran activists after 4 years in detention. We're not talking about the main pro-Biafran activists, we're talking about the little people, the 36 pro-Biafran activists who had been held in detention, because a lot of people would think that, actually the court are releasing them, Kanu. The answer is no. Well, the court have released 36 pro-Biafran activists who have been held in detention for over 4 years. They have been tried and tried and tried and tried and tried. Even people calling for their release, doing this, doing that. Even there was a time Peter Obi even told the federal government that they should just release him, that release them, that this would be a beginning, a sign of peace. But recently, we all know that the court has declined releasing all these people. The federal government have declined releasing all these people. But now they've released them due to that they didn't see any evidence that will hold them guilty of all these cases of armed robbery, holding firearms, doing this, doing that, killing. No. They didn't see any evidence. The only thing they saw in them was agitating, that they were protesting for a different country, and that is not illegal in a country, in a democratic country like Nigeria. It ain't illegal. But people are really hoping that the way they release these 36 people who were found innocent, they should just release their leader, because their leader is also found is also innocent. It's more like the same thing. They just have the same, like they never killed anybody, they never bombed anybody. They are just agitating peacefully. So we just hope that they release Nnamdi Kanu, and it is a very good development that they release these 36 people. What do you guys think? Drop a comment in the comment section. Don't forget to leave a like on this video. Well, you can tap the subscribe button, is the big red one, with the notification bell, so that anytime I have any new video, you'll be the first to get notified about it. Once again, thank you for tuning in and have a wonderful day ahead of you.